Good morning and welcome to Valley Views. I'm your host, Glenn Edison. We're certainly glad to have you. And as always, we want to thank BTC Fiber for hosting our program. And you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page as well as BTC Fiber's cable channel 18. And today we have with us Terry Eastwood, and he's the, president CEO. Is that your official title?
Yeah, that's the official.
At First Farmer Commercial Bank, and the main branch is in Pikeville.
Correct.
And then they have other branches in Dayton, Crossville, and here.
That's correct. Yeah.
And do you have any other?
Now we have the 4 locations.
Just 4 locations. Okay. Well, first, Terry, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you. First, let's get a little background on you. Maybe people get to know you if they don't know you, like your background, how long you've been in banking, and a little bit of your background.
I'll try not to bore you too much with too many details, but I started in banking in 1982. In Brown County. I'm from Kingston, Tennessee originally.
Oh, okay.
So there's a little savings and loan
in
Rockwood, Tennessee, and the chairman of the board happened to see I got out of school and called me, and I went and worked there. And I was there for probably about 14 or 15 years, and started as a teller and management trainee, worked in the computers, and really grew up in the accounting and financial end of the bank. And then started working in loans. Then the bank sold.
Yeah.
So I went to Manchester, Tennessee for a little while.
Yeah.
Went back to East Tennessee. And then I was in Jasper for a while, and actually ended up in Dayton at First Bank there in 1998. And then I went to work First Farmers in 2019, January 2019.
Wow, so you've been at it a while.
I've been at it a while, yeah. Still learning. Us country bankers learn something every day.
Yeah.
So it's been good to me. I've enjoyed it. I didn't really go to school to be a banker. It just, like a lot of people, we get out of school and I need to make money. So, you get an opportunity, and it just kind of timing has a lot to do with it. Good opportunity sometimes.
Right, and I noticed, I've known a lot of bankers that didn't really intend to be a banker.
That's right.
They had they went to school, had other interests, and then it just kind of fell in their lap.
Yeah, again, timing. The bank I went to work for was that savings loan, older savings loan. It had a couple of gentlemen that were in their mid-60s, and it was clear that if I applied myself, I might have an opportunity to move up. And, that happened. And again, timing.
Right.
I'm no smarter than anybody else. I just got to have to get in the door at the right time. So,
well, I imagine while you've been in banking, you've seen a lot of changes over the years.
Very much so. Very much so. When I started, it was highly regulated, and you had boundaries of even how you competed across markets and things. And some limitations. And then when what they call deregulation happened, it was a cowboy show.
Yeah.
And we've had that ever since. And so it's challenging. I think when I started in banking, there might have been, gosh, I'll miss this number, 60, 70,000 banks out there. Some big, large number in the country, or branches and everything. And, I think we got 4,000 banks in our country today.
Yeah.
So deregulation helped create some of that. But it's what it is.
Well, I know a lot of the banks, even some of the local banks around here and around in that whole area, have taken other banks under their wings and formed, a bigger branch of what they are.
Sometimes bigger is better, but not necessarily. It's really each bank has its niche, I feel like, right. And they have to determine how are they going to survive in this market and in this banking times and the markets they're in. And there's so much back office and so much work that has to be done behind the scenes. Sometimes banks combine to try to create a more efficiency with that. The main thing that I've always wanted to do is I wanted to keep that community identity, really, local decision making. That just makes a difference.
Well, it sure does, because you know the people, your people that work in your branches, they know the people, and I'm sure you're not out to hurt anybody. You're always trying to help somebody, but you have your limitations too about what you can do.
We do, and again, regulations. I'll talk about regulators and compliance. They oversee our industry very tightly, and sometimes that makes it challenging to help people because of certain guidelines you're forced to go by.
Yeah.
But as community bankers, most of us will tell you we really apply that character. We know you. There's some things there that aren't on paper. that you can't measure, and that's the part I enjoy. I don't like doing a formula. I worked at a big bank for a short period of time, and I knew I wasn't going to fit really well in that. I'm just not a box checker on everything, and so for me, it's a service. It's really, I need to make money. I want to make money. I want to have a good career, but it's a service to be able to help that customer, that community. It really, I feel like I'm giving something back.
Well, and like I say, you know the people, and that helps a lot because
It does.
you know, not only do you know them just by name, but you know them by who they are, what they do. You know their family. You know, you just know them.
Yeah,
And
that's
so
that community charm we
Yeah.
like. You know, that's what we all like in these small towns. It's nice.
right, and of course now the valley. We talk about you just know them. Now there's so many people moving into the area. You think I don't know you, but
Yeah, you know, you still got a better chance to meet people in a smaller town, even if it's growing, than you would if you lived in Atlanta.
right.
So you still can network, and but it's trying to. And I get older. I think I'm just trying to remember my grandkids' names. You know, and so I find that a little harder too. I know that name or that person. I can't remember their name and things. So, but yeah, and these communities are growing. I mean, especially since COVID, it appears to me that a lot of folks wanted that more small town. They say it's lesser pace. I don't believe that in small communities. We're going just as hard as anybody else.
Yeah,
but maybe it's just you're doing it among friends and near your neighbors.
Well, and if you're coming from a place like California, for say, or New York, New Jersey, which we have had people move down from those areas, you know, they probably do go at a faster pace than we do. You know, they're doing things quicker and faster, and we just kind of sit back as a community and say, well, let's think these things out. Before we make a decision, instead of having to make a snap decision.
And that's another part about being in a small community. The great part about it, I think you can take your time to make the right decisions and strategically make decisions and not rush into things.
Right, and whereas if somebody were applying for a loan, you could say, well, I may not can give you all that, but here's what I can get.
That's right. We try, absolutely. Yeah. You can make a banker. That's exactly what we try to do. So we're here to do business. You know, we're looking for ways to do business, not do business within the confines of our policies and the regulations we got to follow.
Well, I know when I go in banks, and I don't know about anybody else, but when I go into banks, I recognize when I go to up to the teller or whoever I'm having to talk to, I check them out, and they don't know it, but I do, and I want to make sure they're being nice, they're being treating me nice, or if I'm having to wait in line, sometimes maybe I shouldn't do this, but I watch them.
Okay.
And just to check them out. Not that I'm trying to get them or anything.
Sure.
But I want to make sure if I'm going to do business there, that's the place I want to do business.
That's smart. That's good. That's good. I think that's an astute thing to do. Really, you know, you want to know who you're dealing with, and you don't know how they're going to treat you, and you can tell by just observing a lot of times. And then, you know, that's something we always preach to our people, but they know they're the folks we have in our organization. Very service-minded. You know some of them probably, but in all our branches, we try to create that atmosphere. We're just community bankers and trying to listen and help you, and it's a great formula. That's been part of I think the bank's history since it opened its doors is that service aspect of it.
Now, how long? I remember when First Farmers was built here, but it's been a while.
Yeah, I think it's been. I came to the bank in January of 19. The bank's 110 years old. I think this branch opened right at 20 years ago.
Okay,
so I think it was the second location. I had the Pikeville office for years. They came here and then eventually went to Crossville.
Yeah,
I believe I've got that order correct. And then we opened a Dayton branch in January of 23.
23.
So, yeah.
That's a nice bank, by the way.
Yes, thank you.
It looks pretty. I mean,
we were very fortunate. We got a good spot.
Yeah.
The board, our board of directors, allowed me to make that purchase because that lot had been vacant for many years, and the gentleman, he had his price and we paid it.
Yeah.
But we thought it important to be in that location because of we felt like there was a real need for a community bank in that town.
Yeah.
And our board and our management, we want those branches to be that bank. You know, you don't have to call somebody in Nashville or even Pikeville. You just right here make those decisions. That's part of what we try to do.
Right, and I was itching off today. Sorry. Now, now with your 4 banks, you have, I guess you have a good number of employees.
We have right at 50 employees. That'll vary a little bit, and we are growing, and we're always looking to find fits for our bank. And what I mean by that is, I'm an older guy. We have employees that's been with us. We have a couple of employees that have been with us since high school. They've been there over 50 years.
Wow.
And that's a real testament to them, and I think the bank. But we've tried to take the last couple of years' approach of trying to find some younger folks that can be the future of our bank and bring them in. Maybe not necessarily know what road that's going to be in, but in the small communities, when you can find someone that's interested, you want to latch on to them and get them in the bank. And I've always believed I can get someone in and they can go work in an area that they really enjoy. Maybe they'll stay with me for 50 years. And put them in something. But we're trying to do that a little bit more aggressively, and just that's reinvesting back in your bank and your future.
Right.
And so we're learning how to do that.
Well, and do y'all have any plans, or have you thought about any plans of maybe expanding in other areas?
We put together a strategic plan. We're required to do that by the regulators. We put together a strategic plan. We're always aware of opportunities, but we're also very conservative.
Right.
And we want to, if we make a move to go somewhere, we want to be sure it fits and that it strengthens the bank and doesn't weaken the bank. So we're very cautious about that. But I think long term we would love to grow our footprint. We just want to do it conservatively.
Well, you look at all the locations you're at; they're really small rural areas.
That's right.
And enough to be a small hometown bank.
That's right.
Not just one of many.
That's right. And you got to grow within the capacity of your talent and what you're ready to do, from IT to just customer service, finding the right people. So anytime that I've been a part of the organization, we've expanded, we've done it very cautiously and made sure it was a fit. There was a niche and there were people there that we knew we could work in the community with. So.
Yeah, and I noticed you mentioned IT. That's been a big change over the years, because used to you didn't even have IT.
Oh, goodness. It's our bank until really recently. Again, we're under 10 years old. Didn't really have a full-time IT person.
Yeah.
And we're a little behind the curve on that. And that's because, one, of just resources and trying to find the right talent. But the thing about IT I've learned is it's expensive and you're never done.
Yeah.
Anytime you bring in something in your organization that's IT related, you don't really check that off the box. You say, well, now that created another need, or that product is being enhanced and we got to enhance it.
Right.
So we've made some great strides in IT in our little bank, and that really helps us with our footprint and our service to our customer. So we don't have the resources for a bank to compete with Bank of America.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have to be careful how we spend our money, but we try to provide the technology to help our customer do their business. And
well, that's one thing I like about small town. You're talking about watching your budgets and stuff. With small town banks, they're not like some of those banks a couple of years ago that were going bankrupt because they'd taken their money and invested it in all these other things that were not bank related.
Yeah.
And then they went out of business, and all these people were left holding the bag. Yeah. And y'all are, that's what I like about the small town banks is when you do something that's going to cost money, you look at all the angles and say, well, how much can we do now? And save some for later that we need to do.
You have to stay really focused on that and try to stay in areas you really understand. And if you're going to venture into some product that you're not real familiar with, you better be prepared and have the resources available to that, because there's always surprises.
Right.
So we just try to stick with what we do, and we don't get in. We don't sell insurance products or mutual fund or things. That's just not what we do. We stick strictly to the black and white of banking, if you will.
Yeah.
That's been a real fit for us right now.
Well, and really, if people want those other things, they can get them elsewhere.
That's true.
And they don't have to, and you can just worry about keeping their money and keeping it safe where they can come to you when they need it.
That's correct.
And that's what I like about small town banks is, like you said, they're small, and people, the people one-on-one, and you can sit down and talk to them. If you're not afraid to talk to them, you know them. It's not like you're going to somebody that's all dressed up in a suit and you're not sure if you're going to be turned away, and I'm not knocking the suits.
No, I know, I understand. The one time I worked for a larger bank, I had to call out of Tennessee, another state, to get answers and directions on things, and that was a long time ago. And I knew then. I said that's really not a fit for me. And number one, I'm probably not smart enough to ask the right question.
Yeah.
And I'm right here in my little small community, so I enjoy the community banking, the small community banking.
Right, and with the small community bank, you don't have to worry about making that long distance.
You don't have to do that.
You can talk to your friend or whoever or coworker and say, "Hey, what's the deal on this?"
That's right. And I've got 4 other board members that are close to. I've got their phone. If I need some guidance on something, and they're always there to help me. They're a phone call away.
Yeah,
and they never fail to help. So that's really nice to know you got that group you can rely on.
And board members, I've noticed the local board members, even some of the banks here in town, they're sound. They're not wanting to beat you over the head. They're just sound, and they don't make those bad decisions.
That's right.
They really think over those decisions before they make them.
Correct. That's correct. And board is very important to your organization. It's very important to have board members that are in tune to your community and in tune to customer needs and the community needs and employee needs. Our board is mindful of our employee base and making sure we retain them as employees, because it's a very competitive world out there.
Right.
And there's some really good community banks in our markets that we compete with. And we're friends. We're friendly competitors, and I enjoy the heck out of that. I feel like I can call any banker in any of the markets we're in and ask them a question about something, and they're there to help. And it truly is a joy to have that contact.
Right, and I've discovered that all the banks around here, of course, I talk to them maybe not on a daily basis, but every other week or so, and get to know them. And they're all friendly. If you need something, you can talk to them and say, "Hey, can you do this?" Or "Is there something you can do?" Or "What can you do?" And they're out to help. Like you said, they're out to help, and that's what a community bank is.
If you don't like serving and helping folks, you're probably not going to enjoy community banking, in my opinion. It's going to be too much of a chore.
Yeah.
You've got to enjoy talking to people, being with people, and you want to contribute. It's really from helping the local schools, the charitable organizations you want to help with, to just the community. And then that small business, man, that's kind of where our niche has been, if you will. I think our niche is in a lot of different areas, but the small businesses, they depend, I think, on that local banker that understands what they're going through, the ups and downs. And heck, a good example is COVID. When COVID hit, that changed everybody's world.
Yeah.
And hopefully most folks had a banker, they pick the phone up and not somebody in Atlanta or out of state and say, "Hey, I got a problem."
Yeah.
And that's what we enjoy doing.
Well, and you mentioned like the schools. I remember when John Boynton was honored at the football game, and I stepped out of the press box after I'd set my equipment up, and I saw y'all was out there with your T-shirts and everything. And I thought, well, that's kind of neat to do that. That was something, because there were a lot of people there, different booths set up and everything for various reasons. But I thought that was kind of nice to do. And
we enjoy doing that. I can't remember how many hundreds. I think 300 or 400 T-shirts or something we gave away, and some small football. We enjoy doing that. And you'll notice a lot of kids will come up, and it's just seeing people you go to church with. You see in the bank, you see down in your communities, and the football games are a big deal. Yeah, and especially our small. That was a big game, and that was a great crowd, and so we wanted to set up and just be a part of it.
Yeah,
it's fun to do that.
Well, that's just like I know Bledsoe County has a lot of festivities throughout the year. They're like their Oktoberfest or whatever they call it in the fall festival.
Yeah, it's been really good.
And then, of course, in Dayton, you got the Strawberry Festival, which is coming up.
Yeah, Strawberry's a big event. Pikeville's done a great job with that fall festival and doing some things. Such a nice downtown area that they have, and here in Dunlap they have a lot of nice events going on, and this is a time for community too. So it's you can always find something to get involved in. But we got the Strawberry coming up in May, and again that's a really big event. So hopefully we'll have good weather for it.
yeah. I think part of our Lions Club is going to be up there to help with him. I found out, sidebar here, that the Strawberry Festival was started by the Dayton Lions Club.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
And and then it got too big, and they had to call in some help, so then it got taken over. And
Okay. So you're going to be there. You're with the Lions Club. You're going to be there.
Yes, I'll be there.
Yeah, I can't tell you. I mean, vendors and different they have come in, but you go to many of these festivals, you won't go away hungry. There's always some. There's always. I don't know how healthy it is for us, but I'm always eating a lot of food.
Yeah, maybe strawberries will be good.
That's right.
Well, is there anything we haven't talked about that you'd like to talk about? I know, like I say, you have a wonderful bank here in Dunlap, and no, I haven't been in the Pikeville Bank. I've been by it many times because
Yeah, come up sometime. And not anything specifically, other than I appreciate you having a conversation with me. I welcome your audience anytime to come and visit our bank. And my business card has my cell phone number on it, and I use that's really my bank. Some days I think it's my cell phone. We look at my cell phone, but I try to always be available. I may be slow returning the call, but I will return the call, and just happy to help anyone we can.
Well, I appreciate it, and you mentioned that. That's one thing when I noticed when you handed me your card. Last month,
that's right.
I thought, oh, it's got his cell number on it, and that's not always the case with CEOs and presidents, but.
I give that, and I tell customers use it. It's meant to be used, and I get a lot of phone calls on a Sunday afternoon. Somebody's been somewhere Saturday, or somebody wants to buy a car, or their grandson's looking at a house, but it's that service aspect of it. And I've got a son that's in banking, and when he got into banking, I told him that I said if he almost have to look like this is this medical field. You're a doctor, local doctor. When he goes to church. He won't usually come up and talk to him about something that's bothering him. He's not usually, well, come see my office.
Yeah.
It's 24/7. But that's the service aspect of it, I think, and that's how I've tried to build my customer base. And again, everybody needs a break, but I want to be available.
Well, it's like I tell people, it's not about who gets the credit. It's just about how it gets done.
Let's get it done.
And it doesn't matter who. And like I say, you might get that phone call on Sunday. It doesn't matter as long as you get that customer taken care of.
And we have some great employees that are behind the scenes that I could pass messages on to, and they'll get it done quicker than I will, most likely. And they enjoy doing that too. There's so many people in our organization that aren't on the front lines that contribute so much. And I try to thank them as often as I can, because it's something, you're back in the scenes doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah.
And again, we appreciate them. They're the most important people we have, is our employee base.
Well, and I know some of them, even in Pikeville, I've known some of them, or know some of them, not known them. They're still working there, and so they're really nice people. They work real hard, so I appreciate them and appreciate what you do.
I appreciate your kind comments. And again, we love our customer base. We're always looking to help, and thankful for our employees and our board. And it's really just for me at my age, when I went to work for this bank in January of 19, I was really fortunate to have the opportunity, because there's not as many banks as it used to be, so not as many opportunities. So I was given an opportunity, and I've always been gracious for that and thankful for it.
Well, I appreciate it. It's good to have you.
Thank you so much.
And folks, you can see this interview on BTC Fiber's YouTube page, as well as BTC Fiber's cable channel 18. So until next time, have a great day. Hey everybody, this is Glenn Edison from Valley Views. We appreciate you watching our shows, and we would like for you to like, share, and follow us on Facebook, as well as like and subscribe to our YouTube page.